Good afternoon, everyone. This is Judge Hatcher speaking. We're getting our commissioners online and we will start the hearing in just a few moments. Okay, I understand that our commissioners are on the line. Let's go ahead and go on the record. First, I would ask everyone to please mute themselves unless they are speaking. That'll cut down on the noise level and prevent any audio feedback. Today is October 7th, 2021. The Missouri Public Service Commission has set this time for a local public hearing to give members of the public a chance to comment about Ameren, Missouri's general rate increase application. And that is file number ER-2021-0240. The Missouri Public Service Commission regulates the rates charged by public utility companies in Missouri to ensure that those rates are just and reasonable. The Commission also regulates the quality of service and safety of the operations of public utilities. The Commission is made up of 5 commissioners. The commissioners are appointed by the governor to fixed terms and confirmed by the Senate. The commissioners employ a staff of engineers, accountants, attorneys, financial analysts, and other specialists in the field of utility regulation. My name is Charles Hatcher. I'm the regulatory law judge and will preside over this hearing. With me today are Chairman Sylvie and Commissioners Holzman and Commissioner Kolkmeyer. This is an official hearing of the Missouri Public Service Commission, and the statements and testimony of witnesses will be recorded by the court reporter and are given under oath. The Commission has not made any decisions in this case and cannot answer any questions today, as they do have to remain impartial until after all of the evidence is presented. Commissioners, do you wish to make any opening remarks?
Thank you, Judge. This is Chairman Sylvie. I would just like to thank everyone for participating today. This is one of the opportunities we have to hear directly from the customers who will be impacted in these cases. So I appreciate you taking the time out to share your thoughts with us. So thank you for that. Judge, I will be turning my camera off to save bandwidth because I know that we've had issues with lagging in past hearings. So, and I see there's a lot of people on. So, but I will be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. That is correct. For those of you just coming on, we have had some technical difficulties. So we do ask that anybody that is using their video, please go ahead and turn that off if you don't need to. But when you do speak, it's a little bit easier for the court reporter if you turn your video back on. Any other commissioners wish to make opening comments? And it is *6 to unmute if you're calling in on a phone line.
Thank you, Judge. This is Commissioner Kolkmeyer. I just want to echo the chairman's remarks and thank everyone for participating and giving us their testimony here today.
Judge, this is Commissioner Holzman. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Okay, just wanted to thank everybody and also just remind everybody that testimony matters. We're here listening to your positions on these rate cases, and we do take it into consideration, and we thank you for taking the time to share your thoughts with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner. Let's go ahead and start with entries of appearance. For the record, we'll start off with Ameren, Missouri. If counsel would like to go ahead and introduce themselves.
Thank you, Judge. Appearing on behalf of Ameren, Missouri, James B. Lowry, 3406 Whitney Court, Columbia, Missouri, 65203.
Thank you. And for Commission staff.
Yes, Judge. Appearing on behalf of staff of the Missouri Public Service Commission, Jeff Keevil, Post Office Box 360, Jefferson City, Missouri, 65102.
Thank you, Mr. Keevil. And for Office of the Public Counsel.
Yeah, good afternoon. Mark Poston, appearing on behalf of the Office of the Public Counsel.
We do have 6 interveners in this case. I am just going to name those in a list, and after I name that list, I'll ask if any council would like to introduce themselves. Midwest Energy Consumers Group, Consumers Council of Missouri, Missouri Industrial Energy Consumers, Sierra Club, Renew Missouri, Legal Services of Eastern Missouri, and Natural Resources Defense Council. Again, these are interveners, these are parties to the case. Are any counsel for those parties present and would like to introduce themselves for the record?
For the record, Paul Bars with Legal Services of Eastern Missouri. Thank you, Judge Hatcher.
Thank you, Mr. Bars. Okay, we will now go ahead and start the hearing. The process I'm going to use is to call the names I have listed on my sign-up sheet in the order that they appear. I have 4 names, and after I call those 4 names, I will ask if there's anybody anyone else listening who would like to make comments who did not give their name. So if you do want to make comments and you didn't sign up, fear not, we will ask that you make your comments just at the end of our list. Let's go ahead and start with the first name. And when I call your name, please go ahead and unmute. And if you're a call in on a telephone, that will be *6. If you are calling in, use your computer. It'll be a key there on the app. I will ask you to state your name and then spell your name for the court reporter. The first name on my list is Charles Buchanan. Is there a Mr. Buchanan here? All right. Only one of the names signed up and specified that they were signing up for the noon hearing today. Shirley Ferguson. Is there a Shirley Ferguson? Again, it's *6 to unmute if you called in on your telephone. Okay, Sharon Jones.
This is Shirley Ferguson, Your Honor.
Oh, yes, Miss Ferguson.
Yes, sir.
All right. What I'm going to do is ask you to spell your name, last name for the court reporter. If you could do that, Miss Ferguson.
Yes, sir. My name is Shirley, Shirley, and my last name is Ferguson with an F, Ferguson.
Thank you, ma'am. If you would raise your right hand, I'm going to swear you in. Do you solemnly swear?
Yes, sir.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Ferguson, if you could go ahead and please tell the commission your testimony.
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, I am a senior citizen, and my testimony in terms of the rate increase, I would say that at this particular time, it is not good because we as senior citizens are struggling with the rise of the cost of living, but yet our income is not rising. Now, my personal testimony today is with an issue that I am going through presently with Ameren Electric. I was on a payment plan, but due to a medical emergency recently, I was unable to pay the full amount of the $121 that was required. I did pay $88, which left a $33 shortage of the amount that was required. A couple of days later, I received a disconnect notice in the amount of $161.79 with a subject to disconnect after October the 12th, 2021. Now, I had paid what I could, and it was more than one half of my obligation. If I could have met my obligation, I certainly would have. I received yesterday I received a new monthly statement showing the amount due is $286.79 by October the 26th, 2021. I do not understand what's going on with this billing. I'm not saying I do not owe the money. It is looking as if consideration for my trying to pay is being ignored. With all that transpiring with this issue with Ameren, it has increased my financial hardship even more. No consideration was given that I sent more than 50% of what the required amount of $121 was. At this point, they're putting me in a position for an additional hardship. Now, Ameren is saying that they're committed to their customers, but at this point in time, with what they are attempting to put me through on my personal level with what's transpiring now, I find that very hard to believe. And sir, that's the end of my testimony.
Thank you, Ms. Ferguson. I appreciate your comments. Can I ask if you would please grab a pen or pencil? I would like to give you.
I do.
Excellent. I'd like to give you first an 800 number, and this is Ameren's 800 customer service number. Ameren
Okay.
provided this before the hearing, just in case there were any customers who did have specific questions about their bill. That's going to be the
Yes,
first
sir.
number I give you. It's 1-800
Okay. Okay.
321
Okay.
2477.
2477.
Right next to that one, Ameren. I'm going
Yes,
to give
sir.
you
I have that number. It's 1-800-321-2477.
Yes, ma'am. Let me give you one more 800 number. 800 392 4211. This is the Public Service Commission Consumer Services number. So if you aren't able to work things out with Ameren, or if you are, you're still free to call the Public Service Commission's Consumer Services number, and they might be able to offer you some assistance as well.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Are there any commissioner questions for Ms. Ferguson?
No questions, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Kolkmeyer.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
May I have that phone number, the second phone number, please? It was 800-392 for the Public Service Commission Consumer Advocacy.
800-392-4211. And
All right, thank you.
if I could get you to state your name real quickly for the record.
Peggy Nelson, Nelson. Yeah, I didn't get the number. I wanted to make sure I had that. I'm sorry.
Not a problem. I appreciate that. And I'll repeat those numbers at the end of the hearing as well. Let's move on to our witness list. I'll call again Sharon Jones. And Joanna Lowry. Okay, to unmute, it is *6 if you're on a phone. And if you're on the WebEx app, the mute and unmute button is one of the controls within the app. Now, as promised, I will turn this to any public comment for anyone who would like to make a statement to the commissioners about Ameren's rate case that did not sign up.
I would like to add comments.
Yes, Ms. Nelson, I
Yes.
already have your name. Let me go ahead and swear you in real quick.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, it is.
Thank you, ma'am. Please go ahead and give your statements to the commissioners.
Well, we're coming out of COVID where a lot of people were out of work and we're all trying to recover. I know that electric is very important, that we have it connected in all of our homes, like this Ms. Ferguson. She's a senior, probably disabled, and to have financial problems. All kinds of incidentals happen as you're trying to pay your bills, and you can't always meet your obligations. But that just adds more stress that would lead to sickness, is what it sounds like happened to her, like she became ill from stress or something. And the fees that keep accumulating should be waived. I would like to ask that they be waived to ease the burden of more stress. Also, disabled people, handicapped people, and seniors on a fixed income, I think they should be allowed to pay by ability and have a different rate, like different rates or tiers of what they should pay, like insurance companies have. Pardon me. Like the insurance for your drug cost. You have 1, 2, and 3 tiers, and then you have a cash. Are we still together? Hello? Oh,
Yes.
shit. Oh, I thought my phone hung up. Okay, but if you could introduce a type of tier payment plan, so somebody like Ms. Ferguson could pay, catch up. The prices of food have escalated higher because we have this impending famine, and it's just really getting harder and harder to pay for everything. To up our prices for electric is going to have to offset something else. And I, for one, am having a hard time figuring out how much cheaper I could live, and I'm just constantly refiguring my budget and trying to rearrange everything. It's getting more and more difficult. I have had problems. My bill with Ameren is paid, but I have had problems getting the money to them if I use the mail. So I have to use auto pay over the phone every month, and some of them charge money for that. And if you would release us from these extra fees and extra charges, that would give us a little bit of leeway to get the bill paid for our usage. And to be displaced from your home and have to move, that's usually, are you still there? Because my phone's making noises. Hello? Hello?
Yes, I'm sorry. I had myself muted. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it hung up on me again or what. But to be displaced from where you're currently living and try to go someplace else and share housing with someone, usually that's an $800 expense. That's pricey. And to try to do it yourself, you're subjecting yourself to, especially a senior citizen that's usually weaker or has realized that they have a limited ability at that point in their lifespan. They're not going to be able to lift as heavily of things that they used to when they were younger. They're not going to be able to hold up as long during the day, and realizing their limitations may not have been done and overdo it and then have injuries or have to recover just from, physically from moving. So I guess these should be handled on an individual basis, but it sounds like we really need some guidelines to help people who are consumers. They want to pay you, they're trying to pay you, but additional fees and stressing them more with charging extra is just going to make it even worse. So, but I like my service with Ameren. Yes, we do have outages. I live in a house that was built in 1940, and our trees are really old. They're 80 years old, and they're starting to crumble, especially when we have a dry spell. The branches bring down power lines, and then we swelter in the heat. And in the wintertime, the extra burden of ice on the branches does the same thing. So, but I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do next. But we need more of a breakdown about how to help these people pay their bills. As there are churches that will help if you're belonging to a church, and just like we have food pantries, but I would imagine they're pretty stressed. I don't know how they could offset it in different ways. But I would like to ask you to have the Public Service Commission have a more efficient way of helping us pay our bill for our usage and waive some of those late fees and things that just make it worse and harder to pay. So that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson. I appreciate your testimony. Are there any questions from the commissioners for Ms. Nelson?
No questions, Judge.
All right. Are there any other persons who are in attendance who would like to give their testimony to the commissioners? We are within a minute or two of closing the hearing. If there's anyone
I would like
else.
to give or have a comment.
Yes,
My name is Virginia Hill.
Ms. Hill, let me swear you in.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I sure do. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Please go ahead and give your comments to the commissioners.
Okay. We know that electric is a necessity. It's not a luxury. It's something we have to have. And we don't have choices of different companies we can go to for this service. So we're pretty much, you have to do whatever happens with these rates. But I feel that with all these federal packages that have been put, like the infrastructure package and different things that the government has been giving to companies to help them get through COVID, I can just imagine what Ameren or the electric companies have been given. I'm sure it's astronomical. I just can't believe that we need to impose this rate hike right now. I have a 7-year-old house with extra insulation and is only 1,250 square foot. And in the winter, my electric bill is $300 to $350 a month, and I set my heat on 70 degrees, so I'm not keeping my house extra warm or anything. So I think that's really already astronomically high for just a small house like that. I can't imagine what people with large houses must have to pay. So I find it hard to believe that they're really in a situation right now to need this rate increase, which will definitely devastate the consumers even more with all the other things that have been going up. And I just feel like companies, when they want to start new things with their business, that part of that should be expenses that they incur, not put over to the customers all the time to keep increasing the rates. Like I said, we don't have a choice, so I feel like this is the only way we can say what we really feel. And that's it.
Ms. Hill, thank you very much for your comments and testimony. Are there any questions from the commissioners for Ms. Hill?
No questions, Judge, and thank you for your testimony.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll ask you one last call for any other persons who would like to offer their testimony today. Again, we will be ending the hearing in just a moment.
I would like to testify, please.
Yes, ma'am. Please identify yourself.
Sandra Meyer, M-E-Y-E-R.
Thank you, ma'am. And let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, Ms. Meyer. Please go ahead and give us your testimony.
Earlier on the comment section, I asked a question regarding the net income of Ameren, Missouri, and the Ameren representatives were unable to answer that. Since then, I have looked it up. I cannot find just Ameren, Missouri, but Ameren Corporation net income for 2020 shows it was $871 million. That's net income. I suggest that they take the $300 million that they want to increase our rates by out of that net income. I also would like to ask how they, well, I can't ask a question, make the comment that it takes how they can justify adding temporary employees into their request for rate increases. And that's my comments. Thank you.
Ms. Meyer, I appreciate your comments. Do any commissioners have any questions for Ms. Meyer?
No questions, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. All right, again, last call. Anyone else who would like to offer their
Yes,
comments?
my name's Kathy, and
Kathy?
I'm in St. Louis County, Judge.
Thank you. Can I get your last name,
63114.
Kathy?
Pardon?
I'm sorry. Can I get your last name, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's Kathy Frederick, F-R-I-E-D-E-R-I-C-H.
And let me swear you in real quick, Ms. Frederick.
Oh,
Do
okay,
you
thank you.
solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Please go ahead.
I just wanted to mention the Post-Dispatch did do several articles on the increases that Ameren has gotten over a prolonged period of time in the millions of dollars. And I think that, as I mentioned in the question and answer segment, Judge, we need to look at the assets and where they're drawing any incomes, and take a look at where the money is being spent and if it's being spent properly. That's my comment.
Thank you, Ms. Frederick. Are there any
You're welcome.
questions from the commissioners for Ms. Frederick? Okay, hearing none, I'll issue my last call once again. Any persons who would like to give their comments to the commission?
Yes.
And who is this?
My name is Jesse Tutterow, Tutterrow.
Thank you. Let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And please go ahead with your testimony.
I have several comments to present. First, I want to thank the Public Service Commission for having this hearing and allowing us to express our views. Ameren is a government-imposed monopoly. I cannot buy electricity from anyone but Ameren. Walmart, Amazon, no one will sell me electricity except Ameren, and I cannot live in a city of St. Louis without electricity. Therefore, they are a government-imposed monopoly. I wonder why they spend all their money doing public service announcements talking about clean energy and Ameren, Missouri doing this, and videos showing installing solar panels when they don't have to convince us to buy electricity from them. We have no choice. Perhaps they should take that money that they're using for commercials and use it instead for improving the infrastructure. For instance, the electrical failure we suffered the second Thursday in August, I believe it was August the 12th, took my electricity out from about 7 p.m. to 1:38 the following morning. Since that time, I've called Ameren asking them, please tell me specifically exactly what took out my electricity. And they can't do it. It's a storm. It's the basic answer I can get. And yet the neighbors across my street had electricity. It seems like the electric poles running through the alley, every other alley lost electricity. They couldn't tell me why, other than that's the way the system is set up. I suggest that the Public Service Commission, before approving this rate increase, require them to be able to provide a specific explanation as to why a customer lost electricity. if it happens to be something of the nature, well, a tree branch fell on the power line, and certainly the next morning they were all showing these trees intertangled with power lines throughout the area. The question then becomes, Ameren is already collecting money and budgeting it for tree trimming. If they have this money for tree trimming, why aren't the trees being trimmed so that they don't interrupt the power lines? Or certainly not the number the alarmist news media shows the following day from a storm. I also suggest that on these long-term outages of 6, 12 hours or longer, people are going to have to suffer. I'm old, I'm retired, I have several medical issues. I can't stay in a house in August with no electricity. That night it happened, I slept in the bathtub full of cold water. The next day, the heat would have made that apartment, my house, totally unbearable. Perhaps since Ameren is responsible for its power lines, since Ameren is responsible for tree trimming, perhaps the Public Service Commission should talk to Ameren about providing some kind of compensation for people with documented medical problems so that they can go to a motel. I'm not suggesting a 5-star hotel, but just a Super 8 or a Motel 6, something cheap, but something with air conditioning. And finally, I do Bank of America, and I maintain a modest amount as an emergency fund, and they pay me 0.1% return on my investment, or dividend, or interest. Ameren wants 9.9%, 100 times more than what Bank of America is paying me. That sounds excessive. Even the lower thing, I forget which party suggested 9.0, again, seems excessive. If I'm getting 0.1% and Ameren wants 90 times that much, as far as their return on investment, let's be realistic. I suggest maybe a 5 or 6% is more than sufficient. If they want to give their investors more money, let the C-level executives take a slight pay cut. If they need more employees, let the C-level executives take a pay cut to hire temporary employees. Let's not ask me, who retired early to care for a dying mother who's on a fixed income with no increase whatsoever in cost of living or anything, to pay more money to Ameren when I can't afford it. And the answer is not some public program to give money to people who fall below some magical level that has been arbitrarily drawn. The answer is to decrease everyone's rates and make it affordable to everyone. And finally, they sent me out a letter, or sent me out a note with a bill saying they were installing smart meters. I called Ameren up on August the 19th, which is a Thursday, at 3:48 p.m. and talked to someone named ARAM, A-R-A-M. I asked him specifically if that new meter was one of those meters where they could reach into my house and control my thermostat or smart appliances. And he categorically said no. And yet, since then, I've seen advertisements and information from Ameren, get this new thermostat for free so that they can do exactly that. Either Ameren's employee ARAM was not properly trained, or else he lied to me. I asked before this rate increase is approved in any form that the Public Service Commission have a discussion with Ameren specifically about this information or misinformation that has been given out to me and others.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Totoro. Before I ask for commissioner questions, I did want to reply on two of your points. Mr. Totoro, you had asked about medical issues. I just wanted to make you aware that it's my belief that Ameren does have a list for electric outages that they try and, I guess, address first when there is an outage. You may call Ameren's customer service number to find out a little bit more about that. They do have an existing program, though. Secondly, your last comment, you said that you were talking about smart meters, and you questioned if that would allow the utility to reach into any smart connected devices in your home. And you contrasted that with an advertisement that you said you saw about a thermostat, also called a smart thermostat. I did want to point out that that is two different things that are going on there. The smart meters allow Ameren to read the meter from a distance, and it does allow for some potential control, but only of the meter itself. The second program is a thermostat program where Ameren is offering these thermostats. I believe they are free or at a low cost. And in exchange for that thermostat, the customer would sign up for a program that would allow Ameren to control your thermostat. And I believe that program does have notification requirements and more details. And again, you can call Ameren's 800 number to find out a little bit more about that. Are there any commissioner questions for Mr. Totoro? Okay.
Judge, this is Commissioner Kochmeyer. No questions.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'll call once again for any witnesses who would like to offer their testimony today. Ma'am, I think your microphone is muted.
Hello?
Yes?
Is that
Oh,
better?
yes, I was.
Oh, I'm sorry. Miss Applebaum is who I see on my screen, but I did hear our two other witnesses. So our two other witnesses, if you would hold on for just a moment, I'll get to you right after this. Miss Applebaum.
Right. It's spelled Applebaum.
Thank you, ma'am. Let me swear you in.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I swear. Thank you.
Thank you. Please go ahead with your comments.
Okay, I'm a senior citizen and I'm also a widow. I've lived in my home for 20 years. And like some of the other people that have called in today, on a fixed income and trying to control my costs as much as I can. Last fall, my furnace stopped working, so I had to get a new air conditioning and a new furnace. I've invested in storm doors and attic insulation. So as a result, this last month, I was able to decrease my energy costs by 13%. But your proposed rate increase of 13% is going to wipe out my cost savings. And so I'm not being rewarded for investing in myself by lowering my energy costs. And I think, maybe that's something that Ameren should look at, rewarding people by the way of some type of an energy credit on their bill whenever they are able to save money and conserve the energy costs. And secondly, with the cost of real estate going up, food, new automobiles,
even used automobiles are unrealistically high, 25% over what their normal rate is. Insurance has gone up. And gasoline, we just have a new gasoline tax in the state. So everything's going up. But Social Security, you know, they say might go up 6%. But that's not going to be enough to cover a 13% rate increase by Ameren. So I want to plead my case and all the seniors' cases who are on a fixed income. I'm not disabled, but as I've heard today, many people are. And so I feel very strongly that we need to give those people something to help sustain them, especially during this pandemic. And whether that be freezing their rates, maybe we need to look at something like that if you're over a certain age, maybe cap what the rate increases would be in the future, make them more reasonable, maybe, you know, 1 to 3%, something like that, and or a credit on your bill for conserving your energy costs. And I thank you very much for allowing me to give testimony today and the opportunity to present my case, as well as, you know, just the general consumer who, like Jesse said, there's nowhere else we can go and get a better rate. And, you know, people from St. Louis are rate shoppers, and we always like trying to get the best deal. But as a public utility, I think you're committed to giving us that best deal. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Applebaum. I appreciate your testimony and being here today. Are there any questions from the commissioners for Ms. Applebaum?
No questions, Judge. Thank you.
No questions, Judge.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Applebaum. We had 2 other witnesses. If someone would like to speak up, you'll be first.
Comment?
Yes, who is this?
The name is Randall, R-A-N-D-A-L-L, Bergdorf, B-U-R-G-D-O-R-F.
All right, Mr. Bergdorf, let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please go ahead with your comments.
Okay, I was just looking over, you know, my Ameren bill, and Ameren's asking, you know, that we got the local public hearing notice thing, and they're wanting to increase customer bills by approximately 11.97%. And I'm looking at my electric bill, and a little frustrating is that right at this point, I'm paying right at about 13% over the electric charge for things such as an electric customer charge, a renewable energy charge, fuel adjustment charge, energy efficiency investment charge, and then, well, sales tax is not included in that, but we're already paying for a fuel adjustment, which has not gone down since they implemented it years ago when fuel prices were astronomical. Fuel prices have gone down. That charge is still there. And then we're paying for an energy investment charge, and already paying, you know, I've got a $228 worth of electric, and then another $10 just in an efficiency investment charge. So I'm already paying for things that are not directly related to electricity. And I feel that another almost 12% increase over that is kind of asking for a lot. And I don't, and some of it is I don't agree with the wind farm that they're wanting to build and build it out of our pockets and not their profits. I think the upper end, the CEOs and everything are making a ton of money, and their investment should come out of the company and not make the customers pay for investments in building. We should be paying for the electricity. So it's just, I think it's unwarranted, you know, another 12% increase over, you know, in my case, 13% over the electric charge that I'm paying. So That's my comment. I just would, I think it's unwarranted. Thank you.
Mr. Bergdorf, thank you also for your testimony and for being here today. Are there any commissioner questions for Mr. Bergdorf? Hearing none, I believe we have one other witness who was wanting to give some comments. If they would speak up, please.
Yes, this is Teresa
Yes, Teresa, if I could have your last name, please.
Lesinski, Lesinski.
All right, and I will swear you in now. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, it is.
Thank you, and please go ahead with your comments to the commission.
Well, I've been listening to everything, and I have the same problem with everybody about, the electric bill going on. But when I got the letter for the local public hearing, I did see the word Rush Island coal plant on the letter, and I actually live right down the street from the Rush Island coal plant. Your Honor, I've been here living on this road for 30 years. It's just a little back road. And I mean, I have all the problems that everybody has. But then my problem comes from the Rush Island plant, wanting to know if it's going to close or what's going to happen with the plant. So again, with everything going on with everybody, what's going on in the world, and again, the lady was talking about the real estate and stuff like that. My question was if the Rush Island was going to close because we live on this little back road. And now, in the meantime, all day long, day in, day out, there's the 18-wheelers that go up and down this road. So my question was, if Rush Island's going to stay there, if they stayed, why didn't they put in their own little road? Because if you Google Johnson Road, it's just a little old horse and buggy back road with a lot of hairpin turns. And so then on the way home or on the way out, we're actually fighting for our lives to live on this road. We got 18-wheelers that are going so fast, and like our anxiety's through the roof. We have senior citizens, everybody's retired on this road. They're home all day long, and I know this is like another twist in what everything is going on, but our thing is we're just trying to stay alive. I mean, we're almost feeling like save the bats. I got the article of the newspaper right here in front of me, but I'm trying to save us and the people that live on Johnson Road that encounter these 18-wheelers. Now, in the meantime, I watched how they blew up the plant over in the Illinois side, and they were talking about the toxic. Well, in the meantime, in the winter, when our road gets, because they have to keep the road clear, they have all these 18-wheelers to go down it, they put the cinders all over the road. And they've been doing, like I said, I've been here for 30 years. They've been cindering this road for the last winter that I could tell you how far. And then when they come and plow the road, all them cinders are in my yard. I've got cinders like you wouldn't even imagine. And so then I find it come out that these cinders are toxic in the bloodstream. My family, my husband being in and out of the hospital for years, not really realizing what has been wrong, and trying to reach out and talk to people about the cinders and the coal plant and stuff like that. But in the meantime, I called and talked to a Mark Post to pull this to his attention, and now they're actually bringing the truck drivers and bringing the cinders out of the Rush Island and selling the cinders. And then in the meantime, they go around the hairpin turn, they spill the cinders onto the road. So, I mean, I've already had tragic in my family, and I just want to live out, 60, and I got a disability son that lives here, and there's nowhere to go. So if we're home all day long, that's all we hear is these 18-wheelers going by all day long, and we can't really escape from it. I mean, I would really love somebody to give me money to go stay in a hotel all day long, while they're running up and down, but it doesn't work like that. They did come out and trim the trees. I appreciate that. They came down to 61 into Jefferson County. I mean, they trimmed our trees where they literally whacked the trees. We don't have that problem because they just, basically, there's no trees left around the lines to fall. Our whole thing is the truck drivers. And like I'd stop the truckers one day and ask them why you guys go so fast, and they said they get paid by the load. So in the meantime, they're flying in here, flying out of here, and it's all day long, and it's nonstop. It just, no matter, like I said, there's no matter where I go, it just doesn't stop. Like, we've even contacted the police. They say call the county, call the commissioner. I call up there. They say we don't know why you're calling here. And like the police said, they could sit down here on our road all day long, but they have to catch them. And so in the meantime, we're stuck. We're just stuck. You know, you come home, you got anxiety. You leave, you got anxiety. You're living here, you got anxiety. And basically right now, I do have anxiety. So, I mean, yeah, it's just, you know, I don't know where to go with this. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I should stay here for the next 10 years. Is Rush Island going to close? I mean, it's not just me. It's all the old people that live on our room, and they're all retired. So to retire, to sit happy down here and have these truckers fly by, it's a hard life. It really is. I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there, you know. They said they didn't hear about this, but I talked to a Mark Post, and he talked to me for a little bit and said he'd get back with me, but I never heard back from him once I got this letter. So I just wanted to put that out there, you know. They're putting the cinders on the road. They're in my yard. I mow it. It kicks the dust up. I'm breathing that. That's going in my system. You know, that's probably why half the time I have been feeling sick. You know, I got a disability son that lives here with me. He tries to play outside, and the trucks go by. You smell the fumes. So, I mean, I just want to know where Rush Island stands, because I don't know if I can stay here for another 10 years. So I just wanted to put that out there, Judge. I just know that when people go home, they get to go home and have a nice, peaceful dinner and have a nice night with their family or whatever. We don't get that on Johnson Road. We just don't.
Ms. Lisinski, I can hear the frustration in your voice. I do appreciate you. Go ahead.
I appreciate you. Yeah, I had to get up and take some aspirins earlier, just listening to what everybody's going through. But us on Johnson Road, Rush Island has destroyed our everyday life. It really has. I've been here for 30 years, sir, and I like to have peace. I wake up at 5:30 in the morning listening to these trucks fly by our house, and all I can hear is the gears in my head and the motor in my heart. And I just want everybody to just know what we're going through. I understand about what, you know, we've had the COVID, and we had to be in here, you know, trying to take cover when we caught the COVID, and there was nowhere to go. And so I feel like you're trapped. And I just wanted to put that out there. I just have a lot on me, and I have been dealing with this, you know, and, you know, I just had to just frustrate, just put that out there. That's all I was trying to do today, sir.
No, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come and provide our testimony. And like I said, I do hear the frustration in your voice.
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and I'll ask for any questions from commissioners for Ms. Lisinski.
No questions, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll move on. Again, I will repeat the 800 numbers, both for the Public Service Commission, Consumer Services, and for Ameren, their customer service number. For the PSC, it's 800-392-4211. And for Ameren, it is 800-321-2477. I'll issue one last call. Are there any other persons on the line who would like to testify today? This will be the last call.
Your Honor, this is Jesse Tutterer. I already testified. I wonder if I could add one additional point.
If it's brief, please go ahead.
Currently, I'm set up with AutoPay. Ameren takes the money out of my checking account every month. The problem is checking accounts are not a guaranteed anti-fraud device or entity, which means that if Ameren had a data breach which supplied enough information to a hacker get my name and bank account and routing number, they could empty my bank accounts out with no effort. My understanding is bank accounts are not protected from fraud or hacking, thieving, whatever. I looked into using a credit card to pay, since credit cards have a zero fraud limit on them. The problem is Ameren wants to charge a excessive amount. I suggest to the Public Service Commission that they impose a requirement on Ameren that they either provide free credit card, no charge for credit card use in auto pay, or that if Ameren has a data breach, Ameren is liable for any and all costs I have to recover my identity, to recover the money that was in my bank account, or to replace the money that was in the bank account that was lost because of Ameren's data breach.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Totaro. I would like to thank all of our participants today for their testimony. If anyone does have additional comments, or you know of someone else who would like to comment but they couldn't be present today, you or they may make written comments by going to the PSC's webpage, and that's psc.mo.gov, and the Submit Comments link is in the upper right-hand corner. Make sure and reference the case number, and that is ER-2021-0240. Are there any closing comments from our commissioners today?
Judge, I
Okay.
just want to take
Go
this
ahead.
opportunity again to thank those who testified and appreciate your participation in the process. And then for the court reporter, this is Chairman Sylvie. Thanks.
Thank you,
Judge, Commissioner.
Yes, Commissioner.
Commissioner Holzman here. I just would like to say that, while this proceeding is a rate case hearing and our objective is to get testimony back on the rate case itself, I would encourage anybody who had particular circumstances or issues that they brought in front of the commission today to utilize those lines that are there for them, both through Ameren and through the PSC, to take their grievances to the source that could potentially provide them some relief. So that's why I'm glad you restated those numbers, and I encourage them to exercise them because that's what they are there for. And I thank you, and I thank everybody who testified.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes, Judge, this is Commissioner Kochmeyer.
Go ahead.
Yes, I want to echo the statements from the previous two commissioners, our chairman and Commissioner Holzman. I want to thank everyone for their comments and their time here today. Judge, I want to thank you for giving these customers resources, the phone numbers and the resources they need to hopefully solve some of the issues that we had. So I just want to thank everybody. So thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Commissioner. Once again, I'm just going to repeat those numbers one more time. The PSC is 800-392-4211, and Ameren is 800-321-2477. With that, this hearing is now adjourned. We are off the record. Thank you, everyone. We'll go ahead and
Judge.
Close out the WebEx. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Judge. You're welcome.